Welcome back to another week of Super Fantasy Brothers. I'm Mr. Big B.
And I'm Chuck Loaf.
It's been a long week for pitching, and somebody's in rough shape. My hair is messed up. I have not been able to shave. I've been up all night looking at super duper fantasy questions. But the show must go on. So this week we're going to do some look-alike pictures, answer your questions. We're going to cover some basic strategy. I think we're going to talk about a good number of people to keep on your bench. How many pitchers and relievers is we would call the sweet spot.
And much, much more.
Okay, let's start off by talking about some basic strategy. This is how we like to set up our teams, at least. We're going to start off with how many people to keep on your bench. Notice there's quite a few people that have, 5 offensive people on the bench that are never going to be playing.
Now remember, we're talking about Yahoo fantasy leagues, standard 12-team rotisserie leagues. You really only need about 3 people, maybe 4 on the bench. I like to have a backup outfielder, a backup first baseman, and a backup utility infielder that has multi-position eligibility, like a Miguel Tejada or Martin Prado or something along those lines.
Yeah, I've noticed if I have trouble getting those guys, it's nothing but just bad people with 200 average and that do nothing available. And I come across some good outfielders. Some of my teams I'll adjust, and I'll just have 3 backup outfielders. And sometimes that's not such a bad idea if you've got a slow starting Raul Ibanez or somebody else. That you'd just be better off sitting for a while. Pitching. How many pitchers do you like?
At least 5. 5, sometimes 6, depends.
Yeah. Unless you come across something that was dumped that just can't resist. And somebody dumped
5 starting pitchers, right?
Yeah. Starters.
Yeah.
Somebody dumped a Rich Harden and you can't pass them up, then adjust as you need to. Closers. We usually go with 4 closers.
We like to go with 4. We usually take one decent, reliable closer at least, and then a couple cheap ones, because one always loses their job, then one always gets injured, and then you're not desperate to trade your half your team away just to get some saves.
Yeah.
So 4 seems to be the magic number that's what's worked for us.
Yeah. And you always have to keep track of the news too. I mean, people are losing their jobs and somebody new is coming out, and if you got screwed over when you were drafting closing and you're down to 2, you got to keep your ear to the ground and pick up these new guys and hope for the best. So I think that pretty much covers the basics. So we'll move on to the next stuff. Looks like we've got some breaking news. This just in. We've got a first-round player that's going to be out for likely the rest of the season.
Uh-oh. Who is it? Wait, it's time for a random tribute.
These battered hands are all you own. This broken heart is turned to stone. Go hang your glory on the wall. There comes a time when castles fall, and all that's left is shifting in the sand. You're out of time, you're out of place. Look at your face, that's the measure of a man. This coat that fits you like a glove, these dirty streets you learn to love. So welcome back, my long-lost friend. You've been to hell and back again.
Let's go ahead and move on to this week's news.
Let's start with Eric Young Jr. of the Rockies, who is currently playing outfield while Brad Hoff is down. Looks like they're going to move Eric Young to second base to replace Clint Barmes. And Eric Young is another elite stealer, so if you missed out on a Juan Pierre or Scott Pasenik and you need a base stealer, you might want to pick him up now before it's too late. And it looks like they'll be slotting down Carlos Gonzalez, my boy, down in third. It's about to get all kinds of ribbies and stuff. I'm excited about that. If you haven't picked up Jaime Garcia in your league yet, you might want to do so now before that's too late. Another elite performance in his last game. I think that was Thursday. James Looney.
Your father's a loony.
Looney. He now has 2 homers in his last 90 home games. That is really bad.
This is the bat he uses.
That's the bat he uses, literally. I've seen it. But on the road, he is a completely different player. And if he played all his games on the road, he would be a Kevin Youkilis equivalent. So if you got room on the bench and you want someone that you can just play on the road, take James Looney. Colby Lewis of the Rangers. I recommended him on the midweek show last week, and in 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gotten exactly 10 Ks. Whee! So if he's somehow still out there, and you need a K machine, and you're tired of your Porcellos and your Hardens and your Haps and your Peavies and your Javier Vasquez's and
you're so bad.
And you're ready to replace them, take a Colby Lewis or a Jaime Garcia.
Got some more pitching news for you. Big comeback. Kerry Wood will be back in a week. So get ready to slot him in and start cashing in on some saves. Trevor Hoffman, elite closer that's been struggling, and we now know why. Somebody has trouble with the changeup. Oops. Uh-oh, that's a problem. I can only throw 1 pitch out of my 2 pitches now, and that makes it mighty easy to sit on him. Hopefully he'll be fixing that. If he doesn't, probably see some save action from LaTroy Hawkins, and he is a nice little pitcher.
If we have Hoffman, I would take Hawkins now, just to be safe, if you can.
Hawkins got action last year down in Texas when he was backing up C.J. Wilson, I think. No, it was Frank. Frank Francisco went down, and LaTroy came in.
No. Valverde in Houston went down.
Valverde. Yes, well, they all went down, but yeah, he was backing up Valverde. And he got me quite a few saves while he was in that spot, and he had very good numbers. So don't be shy about picking up Hawkins if you want him. Gavin Floyd, been starting bad like a lot of our pitchers, but he's got a history. Got a couple years now of bad April, bad May, and then turning it right around. So if you've got him on your team, don't dump him yet. Maybe just bench him for some starts until he flips the switch. Once he gets going, play him every day.
I got one more note on Verlander. His ERA last year at this point was worse than it is now. So don't panic. Don't trade him away. Don't do nothing. You can try to trade to get him. If you can get him cheap, go for it.
Yeah, that's a
do
good
not
idea.
trade him away. Don't dump him. Don't panic. He'll be fine.
I've got some more recommendations for you. If you're looking for a backup for somebody on your bench that's not performing, somebody in your lineup, a name to look into is Austin Jackson, an unknown new Tiger. He's a former Yankees prospect. Now has the most hits in the American League. He is batting well over 300. He's got, I think, 5 steals now and a good 20 runs. And if you come across him, he's about 40% owned. If you need a quick pickup, I'd go ahead and look into him. I've got him on a handful of teams, and he's been doing quite well.